thank you for joining us for Thursday night ICC Hen Chess Banter Blitz. And here's the program for tonight. We will start out with a short presentation on Rook in games. We're going to look at 5, which sounds like a lot, but they tend to be pretty short. They have some very nice tactical motifs that we think will help you win a lot of endgames. And then after that, we're going to open it up to 3-0, 5-0, rated, unrated, whatever your flavor is. Let's just send out a quick chat. Okay, so let's see. Internet Chess Club is here, and Chess Scholar's here, and everything's looking good. Cab 212 is here, with much respect. So, Cab 212, this is new. Hi, how are you? So maybe we will wait a second or two, give a few people a chance to pop in, and then we will get started on the Rook in game presentation. Aha, Cab 212 looks like it could be Mr. Alec. Oh, Air Buddha. That's, I believe that's Liam from my class. So, Mr. Sandro, what do you think? Should we just go ahead and get started with the presentation and people drift in as they drift in, right? Airbud is asking, are we playing some games? Absolutely. So the program is, we're going to do a little Rook in game presentation, probably about 15 minutes, and then we are open for challenges. And Mr. Sandro will put how you go about matching me, either 3-0 or 5-0. In your case, you could do a little slower if you want, okay? But we're going to go ahead and get started. So, on the ICC library, you can go to View. You go to My Profile. There, you have General and you have Games. We want Games. Now, in the games, you have 2 sections. You have your most recent games, and these are various other games that we've played, you know, in the Banner Blitz sessions. And then you go down here, and you have your library from previous presentations. So today we're going to look at numbers 11 through 15. Some very, very nice, what I think are very nice, and I hope you agree, Rook in games. So let's pull up number 1. White's going up the board. White has a rook and 2 pawns versus 1 pawn. The white pawn is on the 7th rank, looking to promote, and the white rook is under attack. Now you could try playing king takes pawn, but that's a little tricky because he has rook check. When you move your king, he can actually eat your rook. When you promote, he'll check, take off your pawn, and this last little guy will win the game. So you got to be more clever. So what you do is you play rook to b2,
server announcement.
Point. You actually attack his rook with your rook. So this is called deflection, because if he takes your rook, boom, bada boom, pawn rolls in for a queen, and that should be enough to win the game. So he has to get rid of this pawn. He takes the pawn. But now comes a nice tactical motif. You play king takes pawn. You now have your king attacking his rook, and when he saves his rook, you show him the other part of the double attack, is that you have rook over check.
Check.
Now, he can interpose his rook, and then you have rook takes
checkmate.
Rook, checkmate. Very nice, simple example of double attack. First deflection, and then double attack. Very nice little tactics that can win you a lot of end games. Okay, now we're going to close that one. What if the rook does not take the pawn? Cab is asking, after rook b2, if the rook doesn't take the pawn. But if the rook takes the rook, then you can push. And what would be the other question? He could move the rook up and down the file somewhere, right? So that's a good question. But if he moves the rook down the file somewhere, you can probably just play king takes pawn. And you still have his king, you're threatening mate, you still have his king on the side. So you should still be winning if he just moves his rook, say somewhere like to d1 or something. Okay? But good question. Now we go back to our game list. We're going to look at the next one. Now this one is amazing. White looks to be in serious trouble. Why? Because if the white rook goes chasing the e5 pawn, the black rook is going to swing to h8, check, come back, snip this pawn, and no matter which pawn white captures, this pawn on g2 is just going to be an absolute monster. Okay? But white has an amazing, incredible resource. He plays rook to h6. Unthinkable. Gives away the rook. But now the white king comes over. Black king comes up. White king comes over. And the black rook enters the party. Now, hard to believe white can be a whole rook down and hold a draw. But he goes king d2. And herein lies the problem. He goes rook down, attacking the pawn on g2. Now you drop your king back to defend.
Check.
When he checks, you go king back up. And notice that any rook move along white's first row would result in stalemate. Amazing resource. So white, well, black has to retreat his rook. And he's hoping white will take the rook. But white's like, no, 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 no. I got my fortress. I'm not spoiling my fortress. And he plays back over. Now the rook goes forward 1. But the white king simply repeats the motif.
Check.
When he checks, he goes king back up. And again, any rook move along the back row is a stalemate. And so really, it's amazing, but black really has no way to force entry into the white position, even though he's a rook up, and the game would be a draw. Absolute incredible resource. Okay, now let's see the next one we have here. Now this one, white's going up the board. He could take the pawn on e6, but if he takes the pawn on e6, rook takes pawn. When you guard your pawn or push your pawn, the black king comes over, and it should be a draw. So white finds a much more clever resource. He pushes the pawn. Well, black captures the pawn on e2, and if white pushes the pawn again to f7, black's simply going to play rook f2, get behind it, and he should be able to make a draw. But white has an amazing resource. He throws in the check on h5. Okay. King moves. And now, does anyone see the winning move for the white team here? Okay, we're going to do what we call interference. If we push the pawn to f7, the black rook will simply come behind and get ready to scoop it. Okay? So white, I played a game today where I only had a rook left and my opponent had a bishop and a pawn, and we ended up drawing. Okay? So now look at this amazing move,
announcement.
guys. You play rook to f5. Who would think you'd put the rook on a square where the pawn can capture? But this is called interference, because you've now interfered with the black's rook's ability to come to the f-file, and when he eats the pawn, boom bada boom. And notice the black rook is not able to get back and stop the pawn. So after check, black can do a few checks, but now he has no way to stop the pawn from promotion. Once the pawn promotes, you gobble up this pawn, and queen versus rook should be a win. Worst case, 30, 35 moves, but it is a win. Okay, so amazing resource. This move, rook to f5. What a move, what a move. Okay, when he takes it, you push, the rook can't get back, rook gives a couple of checks, and no more checks, and the pawn will promote on the next move. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, what else we got? We got two more. Now this one is phenomenal. Would anyone like to try and guess the first move for white? White to play and win. Now, of course, if you play rook to f1 check, it's not mate, because the king will simply eat your rook on g8 and hide. And if white trades rooks with rook takes rook, king takes, well, this pawn over here on the queen side is pretty frisky. It's threatening to go to b2 and could be a handful. So white plays the most incredible move that simply would not enter most chess players' minds. Someone is saying pawn up. It defends the pawn. Well, pawn up is a good idea, but again, he'll probably just play king takes the rook. Now, the amazing move here is you actually put your rook in the corner. I mean, who would imagine you would give away a rook instead of at least taking a rook, right? But here's the point. You suck his rook into the corner, and then after you do
check,
the rook check, his king has to go in where he blocks his own rook. But now, we're going to follow Buttle's advice, and we are going to push the pawn up. Double exclamation point. Good call. You were just one move early. Because now, what can he do? If he takes the pawn, you simply go king over to e7, and the next move, rook g1 mate. So let's say he pushes this pawn, ready to promote. You simply slide over with your king. When he gets a new queen, checkmate wins the game. New queen does not do him any good. We now see why he put the black rook in the corner. Absolutely amazing resource. I mean, in this original position, who would ever think to play your rook from g8 to h8? Just absolutely incredible. And then the very nice follow-up. You don't want to play king in right away because he'll play h6 and create a hole. That's why you got to play Liam's move, h6, keep him boxed in. And when he goes for the gold, then you move in for the kill and rook f8, checkmate. Absolutely amazing. Okay, now I got one more. I try to save the best for last. I thought this was truly phenomenal. Now, this is actually a composition from a composer, A. Zelenyov, 1909. And this has everything. It has deflection. It has a little check and skewer on the tail end. It has a little bit of everything. Back rank mate threats. So you can see, this looks like black's doing okay. If the rook runs down to defend the pawn, bam, rook f1, back rank mate. But white comes up with a phenomenally clever idea. First,
check,
rook check. That deflects the king and the rook. Now, the rook pretty much has to take because if the king moves, you'll simply trade rooks and promote your pawn. Easy peasy. So the rook takes. Now, of course, if you promote your pawn, you get back rank checkmated. So you play an amazing follow-up. You play pawn to g4. Now, this is a dual-purpose move. You keep the rook from going to f5 to stop your promotion, but you also free a square for your king, so you don't get back rank checkmated. Well, now rook check.
Check.
King goes up. Rook check.
Check.
And now, very, very important. As you will see, king to f1 would be a loser. So you don't play king f1. You play king up to g3. The rook checks again. Now you go king back, you attack the rook. But now black has one last trick. He goes rook back. That way, if you promote the pawn, he will go rook f4 check and skewer your brand new king and queen. But you go ahead and promote the pawn to a queen anyway.
Check.
He checks. He sacrificed the queen. Not that he had a choice. She was lost. Pawn takes, and then pawn to h4. The race is on. Black plays b5. White plays h5. Takes, takes, b4, h6, b3, h7, b2. Now remember earlier we said if we had played king f1, it would be a loser because this black pawn would be promoting with check. That little detail makes all the difference in the world. So now white promotes a pawn, black promotes a pawn, and generally queen versus queen is a draw. Queen versus queen and a pawn. Here you could check and pick off the pawn, but White has one more last trick. It's called the check and skewer.
Check.
You check, force the king to the b file,
Check.
then you hit him with the skewer, and little details make all the difference. Absolutely fantastic composition by Zanelyazov in 1909. Okay, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and close this. We're going to go ahead and close the library. And let's see, pop up our board, new game board, and \open so people can send in a challenge. Okay, and we are now open for challenges. So how do they go about challenging, Mr. Sandro? Could you type it in the chat maybe? Cronxel Lannisters. Here. So, as he points out, you can do \match hen chess space 3 space 0 or 5 space 0. A space between the 5 and 0. I think so. It gives an error. Okay, Sandro, can I match him? Sandro, what would be the command if I want to match him?
Incoming challenge.
Oh, we're in. Okay.
Game started.
Okay, what to play? This kid knows everything. Although the center counter against the English, this is probably a little bit new. Okay, let's just develop. Hope nothing bad happens. Tricky guy. Okay, let's go here. Not sure that's the best. Why didn't I go out there and challenge him? Oh well. Oh, a really tricky guy now. Okay, let's just chill. Now I'm hoping to get e4 in with tempo. Ooh, tempt me. Okay. Well, we'll do it this way. Now we could go knight b5, collect his bishop. Then he's got some pressure there on that guy. Which bishop do we want? Do it. Just do it. Like the Nike commercial. Just do it. Oh, seriously? Dude. Okay, that was more exciting than I thought it would be. Let's go after this guy. Yeah, I think he had to go queen back to d8 there. I think that would have been the recommended procedure. Okay, now we can advance the pawn with tempo and try to gobble that pawn on b7. And I think the black pieces have some challenges here. Cab 212 said g4. Oh, he was talking about the ending before. Yeah, those were some absolutely amazing rook endings, and it's just fantastic to see the resources that are hidden in those things. And by the way, our current world champion, Magnus Carlsen, is just amazing rook endgame player. Okay, he's giving my dealer's choice here. I can take the bishop or the rook. I don't know. Which is safer? Oh, I could even castle. Get out of town. Or throw in the pin. You're killing me with choices here, dude. Okay, take the rook. Why not? It's not nailed down. You're not going to trap my queen, are you? You go there. Nah, I don't think so. So a bit of news in the chess world over the last few weeks. One, they're going to resume the interzonal, which determines the challenger, of course, for Magnus Carlsen. And secondly, the World Championship itself is going to resume in Abu Dhabi, I believe, in the Middle East, with a substantial prize fund. Okay, well, let's take this one. That gets our queen a little bit closer to the king side. And I think they were pegging the prize fund at something like $2.5 million for the World Championship match. Which? Okay. Now let's go up here. Oh, didn't mean to let his knight eat that. I meant to go over to the c file, but okay. Okay, that makes it easier.
Draw offered.
Oh. Well, it's tempting, but I'm going to play just a few more moves. Oh. Opfer Shock says no draws. Okay. Oh, it's like the Roman Colosseum. They want blood. Okay. I see how it is. Oh, no. Dude. You weakened your rank. Okay. I'm going to go here.
Check. Checkmate.
Yeah. Couldn't resist the rook roller mate. Anyway, good game there, Marco.
Incoming challenge.
I think d5 against c5. Against e4, you can play d5. But against c4,
Incoming challenge.
It's a bit worse. Okay, now, Marco, we got to give a few other people a chance to play. If no one pops in, we'll play another game, okay? Of course, Crunks Lannister spots the mate in one with queen g7, but I did have my rook roller checkmate in mind. Okay, I guess we'll do another game.
Game started.
Now, with white, he's a tougher customer because he knows a good system. Oh, well, just do our thing. That seems a little early. Okay. That knight is one dancing machine. Now, you don't like the other guys? The other guys on your team don't get to play? This guy is maneuvering like nobody's business. Okay. Why don't we leave him there? Let's just play this one. This is a natural break. I was gearing up to try and play e5, but since the knight keeps hopping around... Ooh, that's some potential free cheese there. I think it's a good weapon to surprise, but you cannot play it the whole time. Yeah, good point. You cannot play the London system the whole time. You can only play it in the games where you're white, right? Is the Jobava London system a good weapon? Well, I guess if your name is Jobava, or Rappaport, I think it's a great weapon. Otherwise, I have my moments where I have my doubts. I mean, some of the positions... Well, here's the thing. With certain closed openings like that. Now, that's actually a very clever move. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this. Here's what I really think about this. First, I think we should move our rook. Okay? But some of these systems, like the Jobava, like the King's Indian attack, they don't really offer an advantage per se. They're not as strong an attempt to try and capitalize on the first move. But what they do offer is they offer you the chance to get positions that you're very familiar with, okay? And for example, like Kamsky. And then some players have a specific talent for that opening. So like Kamsky, I really believe Kamsky has a unique special talent for the London system. He plays it extremely well, comes up with a lot of new ideas in it, and as a result, he wins a lot of games, okay? So now what's he trying to do to me here? His rook is opposite my queen. Is that going to be a problem? Not as long as I don't let him get to my king. And so yeah, I really believe Kamsky has a unique special talent for the London system. And so he wins a lot of games. He finds a lot of resources in positions that black players don't feel are particularly dangerous, okay? And so that can be very effective from a practical point of view. From a theoretical point of view, okay, now what's he doing? He's trying to trade off my best defender. I guess we'll agree for the moment, but only because we get this pretty sweet looking check. Okay. Wow. I guess we'll hit him with the discovered check.
Check.
Please challenge me because it gives me an error when I try to challenge you. Okay, Sandro, how do I challenge someone? Okay, so now his king's trying to run. A move like Queen A5 would be pretty decent. But I think we can also go for the attraction rook sacrifice. Attraction sacrifice is where you lure a piece to a square it doesn't want to be on. Generally it's the king.
Check.
But occasionally it could be the queen. Okay, so he gobbles my rook, but now
check.
I'm able to bring the queen in with tempo. And the queen and bishop help her checkmate. And very good game though, sir. Solid opening. Okay, backslash match and then username. Okay, so let me give that a try. Backslash and then match and then space and then KEB212. KEB2012. Now, who is that? Okay, we'll give it a try. Oh, but we got to specify like what we're playing. So then I guess 5 space O. Is that the way we do it? My username is Keb20. Oh, so why is it saying 212 in the chat? That's a little weird. Oh, because you're on Twitch. I gotcha. So your ICC username is Keb220. Okay. Oh, Opfershock was not impressed with the white setup here. Yes, I think he did something a bit wrong there. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we're going to try to send this. See if it works. It says we want Keb, whose Blitz rating is provisional, to place someone closer to his or her own rating. Aha. So, maybe if I do it and do unrated, maybe that'll work. Matching unrated. Okay. So, try again. Backslash. Woo-hoo. Doot, doot. Match Keb, and he said his username is 2020. And then space. Do I need a space for the unrated? For the U? I think so. And try that. Oh, and we got to put in the time. 5 space 0. And do we need a space between the 5-0 and the U for unrated? All right, we'll try it this way. Okay. And so who is cab 2020? Going to sleep. Very long day. Enjoy the show. Okay, so Crunks Lannister can see it on the replay. It'll be posted on the ICC YouTube channel, on the Hen Chess YouTube channel, and of course on Twitch. Gotcha. Good point.
Incoming challenge.
So let's see. Okay, we got the match here. Unrated game 5-0. Okay.
Game started.
Okay, so we were talking about the Joe Bobber. Do we get a chance to play one? Hadn't been making it to the gym lately, so I haven't been able to see the latest YouTube videos on it. But now he's ignoring our attempts. Well, these guys still like something like this. Not sure how great all this is, but I don't know. Ah, see now he's frisky with the B pawn. But fortunately at this point we haven't committed too much. But I'm thinking we're not going to be castling this game. No. Should we get the rook in position? What do you think? Or should it be full speed ahead? That's interesting. Well, I don't know. Take a timeout. That impedes b4 for the moment. Aha, now b4 is back on with a vengeance. Oh well, full speed ahead. Now let's go for this one. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, but ooh, tricky business. Okay, so if we trade, obviously he'll take with the queen. Why not? Give it a shot. Nothing ventured, nothing lost, right? Something like that. And send that guy up into the battle. And take that guy. Oh, he's all in. Okay. Well,
check.
Game on. Yep, it's definitely game on now, baby. Now, I really was not expecting to castle queenside this game. And of course, if I was Adolf Anderson, I would know how to sacrifice 2 rooks. But I'm just me, and so I'm going to do this. There's a lot of weak pawns all over this chessboard. I really did not believe I was going to be castling queenside this game. I just realized something. There are some issues. If he tries to take my knight, I can take with something. I guess the bishop. And when he takes that, I might be able to take that guy down there. Or maybe take with the queen. Yeah. That way, well, he could still take the bishop. But of course, he'd be giving up his only 2 real kingside defenders for the moment. But who knows, he might get some counterattack. Oh. Well, I guess we're going to find out. I'm a wuss. Yeah, removing that knight was probably smart because I had some possibilities of rook over trapping his queen. Well. Here, let's just say hello to the queen. And I think there's some issues. Aha! He's selling her for the biggest price. Okay, can't blame him. Actually, that makes a lot of sense because now not so easy to break. Oh no! I thought you were going to take with the king. Okay, well now
Check.
I gotta go in. And now I think we get some prospects here. Yeah, I thought you were going to take with the king and put the bishop on f5 and create a little bit of a barricade there. Okay, now I think I might be in business here. Yeah, the knight on a6 is not a real happy camper. Okay, yeah, he's hitting my queen. Oh, but I think the problem there was this guy's hanging. A lot of loose pieces. Upper shock. There's a famous book about the double rook sack.
Black resigned.
Yeah,
Incoming challenge.
I think Yasser Sirwan did a book called Take My Rooks or something. Okay. Another game.
Game started.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good fight there. Good fight out of the opening. Yeah, so Yasser did a book back in the days when he owned Inside Chess. Oh, wow. Ooh. Double pawns? Yeah, no rush. And now I'm probably wishing I'd done that. Yeah, Yasser did a very nice book. Someone played like this last week against me, and I did not get a great game. I was not happy with that. Yeah, it's called Take My Rooks, or Please Take My Rooks, or something like that. And in there he covered a lot of double rook sacrifices. Full speed ahead. Harry coming up the board. This is what the guy did last week, something like this. And I was not the happiest camper. I must say, I was not happy about it. It was not thrilling. boy, that's annoying. My guy's playing great now. Yeah, someone must have done a video on this, because this is the second person to play like this against me, and it's really not an easy problem to solve, I must say. And you use a lot of time because of strange positions. Okay, let's think. Oh, he's all over my business. Threatening knight f6 check, obviously. He's threatening that guy. Whew, knight forks. I remember Crunks Lannister, who left. I lost some games to him because of frickin' knight forks. So there he had knight f6 check. That was nasty. Now we're behind on the clock. This is not looking good. Not looking good. At least not looking good for my team. Yes, Opfer Shock mentions the h-pawn advance. And computers have really brought it more into the fore as well. Well, he's got a lot of pressure on the king side, but let's get up here and offer to trade queens. Hopefully we didn't hang anything. Now, famous story from Frank Sinatra, comes a moment when the ship hits the fan or something. I think that's actually a bad joke. I forgot that my plan was to play e6 and try and blast some of these knights out. Uh-oh. What's happening now? It looks like he's going to do some bad stuff to me. He has that one. Aha. Okay. Think. If you go there, he takes there. You go check, check. He can run up there, and you can go check. Short. Oh, getting short on time here, dude. Let's just go for this one. Thank God for the knight on g7. Whew. Otherwise, okay. Very clever. He's stopping my check. Get this guy over here. Otherwise, I had queen e4 check. Oh, now he pins me. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't go there. Don't go there. Let's go here. Boy, knight f5 would have allowed the fork. That would have been unhappy. Oh boy, still no rest for the weary. Yeah, it's playing very solid.
Check.
Ah.
Check. Check.
Believe it, after all that, frickin' knight
Incoming challenge.
still got me. Good game, sir. Yeah, I should have played knight f5 at one moment. Knights, always my problem. Anyway, good game, sir.
Game started.
Yeah, I had trouble with that opening a week or two ago. Someone must have done some kind of book or something or video on it. And the guy played well, I must say.
Check.
Now, what country is he from? Well, it's Portugal. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Not really sure why I didn't go knight to b4 there, but okay. Yep, another guy that's playing great here. Problems, 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 problems. Okay, but now I feel like we may have a foot in the door here.
Check.
Okay, so I get a knight fork. Yep, could have done something better there, but okay.
Check. Black resigns.
Very good game, sir. At one moment, bishop b6 looked like you were doing very
Incoming
reasonably well.
challenge.
Let's see, I think we played this guy before.
Game
now it's 3-0.
started.
Okay. Wow. The guy knows theory. How does this guy have a 1592 rating, I wonder? Yep, all kinds of checks and stuff. If we go there, he's on that guy. Open board position, not my favorite. Get that puppy back in the game. Let's get this guy over here. Ah. Time.
Check.
Check. Yeah, I'm a little worried about my king's safety here, as I should be.
Check. 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 Server announcement.
Hey, that might have been a bad check. I was a buyer up to that point.
Check. Check. Time warning.
Okay, but now I'm in trouble because my knights and my rook. Darn it.
Check.
I overplayed it.
Check. 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 White incoming forfeits challenge. On time.
Good game again, sir. I'm sure I was winning, but lost again.
Game started.
Oh, well. I'm sure I was winning after I collected a couple of pawns, but things happened. Let's see. Okay, so probably I need a break, but
check.
Finish this game. Maybe we'll do a little break. Yeah, very good game. A lot of queen checks. Kept me busy.
Server announcement. Check. White resigns.
Very good game, sir. Of course, that's the famous Gingy Indian, named after Roman Ginginhashvili. Okay, I managed to escape. Didn't even have to feed the cat. That's my little cat, Sweetie, in the picture there, right above the Chess for Less sign. Oh! Challenging me to another game. Well, where is everyone else? Okay, sir, I think we had a few games. I'm going to see who's out there today. And if no one challenges, we'll do another game there. So you play very well for your 1356 rating. I'm not sure where you got that from, but you played pretty darn well. That was a long game. Okay, Keb 212, and it's not G3, it's B3. And G4, B4. Okay. Not sure where he's going with all that, but let's see who else is out there. If no one plays in a minute or two, we will do it again. Tough game. How are we doing on time? Got time for 2 or 3 more games, I guess. Some good games today.
Game started.
Truel. Aha, FIDE Master. I think I've played this guy before. Have no idea what happened, but just seems familiar. The E4 pawn gambit. That happens with pre-move sometimes.
Incoming resigns.
Oh. Well, I mean, you get resign. I mean, you get some compensation for the pawn. You play moves like Bishop D3. In fact, Magnus even lost a game to some grandmaster who just gave away his E4 pawn out of the opening and then played a fantastic attacking game. Of course, you know, Magnus made 1 or 2 mistakes. God, I forget what year that was. Some Russian grandmaster. But anyway, the other 3 or 4 times it has happened, he has managed to prevail. So, let's see what else we can find out there. And if not, we will play Cholasa Babes, who is one of the best 1356 players I've ever seen. I wish my kids had 1300 ratings played that well. But anyway, FM Truel was a little unlucky there. I guess probably he made a pre-move there with knight f3. So did Airbuttle log off? Is he gone for the day? And what about Mr. Upfershock? Is he gone? Or would he like to fire in a game? Could you please recommend a book of video you study to play this game? Ooh, lots of books and videos. I would say there's a lot of good videos here in the ICC store. They've got videos by almost every grandmaster imaginable. The Karpov Masterclass is very, very good. He filmed that in 2018 and covered quite a bit of things there. Also, it depends on whether you're looking for openings or in-games. That's kind of one point there.
Game started.
Baby Boss. Okay, Baby Boss. Wasn't there a whole series of movies like The Big Boss and so forth? Yeah, I saw Naroditsky actually take with the... take this guy. Okay. Getting confused in my young years here. I think what he did was he took this guy, maybe. So now that makes sense. Yeah, he's got some possibilities here to play e5. We could play e4, but then he can go takes, and then e5. Not feeling the love there. Maybe we should just chill in with our knight. Let's go up here. Not sure what it does. Go ahead and castle. Yep, that's a good move for sure, for sure. Absolutely can't take that. Brings his knight to too good a square. I thought he was going to take my pawn. I am most definitely disappointed, but I did have some obscure compensation. I thought maybe a rook to e1 check, a queen to h2. Wasn't overly impressed with it, of course, but now that's a little tricky. Oh, I see. He's driving me off this guy. So he's giving up this guy. But he's getting that guy. Okay. Or I gotta back up. Well, let's just back up for the moment. Hope nothing bad happens. And back up some more. Okay, that's a little strange, but okay. Which kind of makes me wonder why I didn't go there, but okay. Oh, no, sir. Queen a5, sir.
Time warning. Check. Black resigns.
Sorry about that, baby boss. It was a really good game. Queen a5. Man, it's pretty even. So, really, really solid game. Good game. Okay. So, let's see what else is going on out here. Go look for another 5-minute game somewhere. Maybe a 3-minute game somewhere. Keb212 says he plays better with the white pieces. Is that game where you played b3 and you got in the knight fork at the end and nailed me? Ugh, that was bitter. I'm going to have to think about that, because I think you're the second person to play that b3 business. So that was just baby boss's
incoming
3-minute
challenge.
Game. Okay, Keb 2020. Okay.
Game started.
Okay. This time I'm taking that guy. For better or for worse. Probably for worse, but we'll see. Okay. Now I see it's like that, is it? Guy's got all kinds of little tricks. Okay. I should have played f6. Anyway. Oh, but now if I go there, he can go takes, takes, and then that one's weak. Son of a gun. Okay. Not happy yet again. Got the ugly triple pawns. Life is miserable. One more time. Oh, but maybe a small reprieve here. Question is, which way do we castle? Or do we? Let's get out of here. Hope we survive. As a rule, when you're fighting against the bishop pair, you're supposed to try and trade one of those puppies off.
Check.
So I heard. So I heard. Well, if I had my other knight on e4, if. I thought there was something a little better there than that. Okay, think. Can we fade the heat if he goes in there? Do not recommend kiddies play like this at home.
Check.
Was not a big choice there. Leave me alone, dude. Wow, he's still coming forward. Okay, get these guys over here. Whoa, I don't want that. I want to trade these guys. Fewer pieces he has, the less likely he is to checkmate me. That's not deep strategy, that's just obvious. Okay, at least the rooks are off the board. Get these guys. Why not go this way? Which does expose me. Oh, of course it exposes me more this way. And it's going to come from this side. And he's going to try to run me out of time again like last time. Okay, but two can play.
Check.
Yeah, one day it's going to be my turn at bat. One day.
Check.
One day.
Check.
I knew it. He was going to try to come in here and sneak in behind me.
Check.
Oh, why didn't I take that? Oh well, this may work out.
Checkmate.
Good game, sir. But this time we avoided disaster. You had a good game out of the opening. I think maybe you should have played bishop takes knight on c6. Give me the triple pawns. Clear compensation. Mini raid, but a raid nonetheless, according to Chess Scholar. So yeah, shout out to Florida Chess Live. They do some great stuff for education, especially here in Florida. And Chess Scholar has been a big help on the technical side, helping us, get everything up and running smoothly. So, Keb 212, oof, GGS, at least I won twice, laugh out loud. Yep, I have to say that's 2 over the limit, dude, but come back next week, and we will party on.